Welcome to another episode of Aliyah at Large, Aliyah Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Aliyah at Large, Aliyah Stories. I'm David Levine, and today's guest made Aliyah from South Africa, which in and of itself isn't the rarest thing, but what makes his story more compelling is what comes next. After he practiced as a dentist back home, he moved to Israel and ended up in a very different profession. Education. So we'll talk about that journey from the dental chair to the teacher's chair and the stop, starts, and surprises along the way. So Tynan, thank you very much for being here. To kick us off, give us a quick snapshot of what your life was like before you make Aliyah. What were you doing in South Africa? Where were you in South Africa? And what did your life look like at that point?
So I had been going towards, I think it was my 9th, 10th year, practicing private dentistry and really leaning towards the cosmetic side and digging my heels into that career. I was single, living alone. And I would say basically just living a very normal life. And I suppose I have maybe words that sound a little bit negative, but it was a pretty mundane, normal, average life and enjoying, I would say, like the way of life in South Africa, having a beautiful home and having a great education and using it towards bettering my life and pursuing what I thought was my dream. And yeah.
So wait, where were you in South Africa?
I'm from Johannesburg, grew up there and been there my whole life.
Okay. And so things are going well in Johannesburg. And what motivated your move to Israel? Was it something you were thinking about or did it come together more suddenly?
I think that for a couple of years I had been considering that I was like not happy in my life and that I was living a very average state of mind, average way of life. I had like written a textbook of how things should look and be, and I lived it and it was not fulfilling me. And so I knew that I needed to brave the thought of looking overseas and going overseas. And yeah, I think that Israel became possibly initially just the easy way out. And it's something familiar. I had done a gap year, it's like 17 years ago now, but I had done a gap year here. I have a lot of friends that live here and I felt like it was a soft landing to leave and kind of go find happiness and go find something more to life than sort of the life I was living.
So what year was it that you moved?
I came in the beginning of 2023.
Oh, okay. So relatively recently.
Yeah.
And where did you land when you arrived?
So when I got here, I joined a program called Zion in Jerusalem. It's a 5-month course in Hebrew. There was about 200 to 250 of us living on the campus in Jerusalem. And yeah, so went basically off the plane straight there and began Ulpan, which was 5 days a week, half day. So really full on studying Ulpan and yeah, kind of making a life with everyone that had chosen to do the same thing.
What was that group like? Who were you with? Were you with other South Africans? Was there anyone that you knew?
Basically, I was probably the old man of the group. I came turning 35 and it is for people that have a bachelor degree. So somewhat already past education level. So I would say the age group was around 22 to 35, really like a young, vibrant, energetic group of people, which really I feel like injected me with everything I needed to begin my life here, starting fresh. And yeah, it was great. It's a bunch of Russians and Brits. There were a few South Africans who small crowd in Johannesburg. I knew the older siblings of them. And so it was sort of a familiarity that I had, but mostly Brits and Russians and a few South Americans in the group.
So plot this for me as it relates to October 7th. So this is before October 7th, no? Or after?
Yeah, I left Jerusalem in about July 2023 and moved to Tel Aviv.
Wow. Okay. And when you moved here, did you have any support network here or were you starting from scratch?
I would say starting from scratch. The friends that I do have in Israel are all married with kids and living in more suburban cities like Modi'in and Renana, and a few in Jerusalem. So Tel Aviv was really out here on my own. And I had, I would say, about 5 or 6 friends from Ulpan that really became my family and my support system. And we've stayed that way. We've been a little group and we've all started the journey together and are doing it together still.
That's amazing. So Did you have those Ole moments, like, dealing with bureaucracy and housing and healthcare?
Yeah.
Did you have those experiences, and did you help each other going through that, given you were all going through it?
The Ulpan experience was amazing. And I've had family that have made Aliyah since. And I definitely think that I arrived here with like silver spoon. The Ulpan really helped us with everything, booked our appointments, made sure everything like from banking to healthcare was taken care of. I would say when I had to go find my own apartment is when I started learning bureaucracy and like the tough experience of dealing with things in other languages and different cultures and attitudes. Yeah, so it's probably only in the last year and a half, 2 years that I've had to experience that. But definitely arriving on an organized program it feels like I was given life on a silver spoon when I began here.
Amazing. Was your original plan to continue practicing dentistry in Israel, or did you think you were going to make some sort of change?
So I knew that I have a love for the medical field and healthcare. And I would say like, I just have a inclination to go towards like healing people and bettering the world and bettering people. It's something I really have a passion in. So I knew that I wanted to stay in healthcare. I just wanted to get out of the clinic. It just wasn't my happy place anymore. And I didn't see a future for myself there. So to kind of, when I got here, I took the idea that I would take a year off of working and then sort of pursue finding another place in healthcare. And part of choosing the Ulpan was that I could possibly go and study further in medical field. Possibly in dentistry too. I had those options all open, but as a general dentist, I had kind of closed the door when I left South Africa.
And how's your Hebrew after Ulpan, and how's your Hebrew now?
Listen, Ulpan was a great help. I would suggest it to anyone. I feel like the Ulpan that I chose was super academic, and I felt very confident reading Hebrew. I would not say speaking. I got to Tel Aviv and probably still was too shy to string a sentence together. I do speak I wouldn't say fluently, but I can handle myself in a crowd that is pure Hebrew. My social crowd is mostly Hebrew. And that's just from exposing myself and putting myself into it, like facing it head on once I moved to Tel Aviv socially, just making myself sort of learn. We call it street Hebrew rather than academic. Yeah. So I just pushed myself and I still work on it outside of Ulpan.
So let's talk about the pivot you made, going from dentist to educator. So how did that happen?
So actually, the education that I'm doing and what I am studying towards now is early years development. So I am teaching in kindergarten, and that's the kind of career that I'm pursuing for now, or at least where I'm finding happiness. So I'm sticking to it. Originally, I had, like I said, I'd taken the year off and not really working, and it became a point in time I really needed to find work. And this is soon after October 7th. And there'd been a lot of workers and immigrants that had left Israel. One of my best friends from Ulpan, she's a kindergarten teacher at a English-speaking kindergarten. And she'd said that they need help. And I went for an interview, and I was agreed to go stay for a couple months to just help them out. So it was just a job kind of just to pay the bills at that point. And I think at some point in that time, I just found that was my place, and I was going home smiling, and I was waking up wanting to go to work. And it's developed into what it is now. It was never the plan. I never, ever thought I would work with children. As a dentist, it was not my passion either. And so it's been where I find I can achieve what I want in a career, which is bettering the world and helping people. And it's actually just developing humans at the youngest, most critical point in their life. So that's what I'm pursuing.
So how old are the kids that you're teaching?
They're 3 to 5 years old.
Oh, wow. It's really the little ones.
Yeah.
And you're teaching them in a Hebrew environment or an English environment?
It's a bilingual gun, so it's Hebrew and English. There are 2 mornings a week that are entirely in Hebrew. And actually today was the first day of the year. And I have in my class about 7 kids that do not speak English. So I am in need of speaking full Hebrew. But the point is to teach them English, that they leave the gun and are educated in English and Hebrew.
And so are you responsible for teaching both the Hebrew and English?
I'm not responsible for the Hebrew. And the English, I'm in training for it. But I'm responsible for the English. That'll be by the next few months, I'll be entirely more responsible for the English. Yeah.
Amazing. And what kind of certification did you need to get in order to take on that first job and then now take on this job?
Well, it's actually just they're in-house training me, and I started doing EYFS. I don't know if you know that education system. It's a framework for early years, like a standard for early childhood development, like physical, emotional, social, and intellectual development. So I'm studying that through the UK, and then otherwise it's in-house training and that I'm getting.
Amazing. And where is the school located?
It's a place called Milk and Cookies. It's in Shkunat, like in an area called Revivim, which is just north of Tel Aviv.
Cool. And I'm curious, what's the makeup of the kids, and anything about it surprise you?
Mostly I would say a lot of Israeli kids, which is great because I think I really get to learn the culture, and they've helped me learn so much and like help me, I really think just help me integrate. And it's parents that just want their kids to have the best opportunities at life growing up. The kindergarten really, really concentrates on like the education level. And obviously we're private, so it's more like the ratio of teachers to kids is much better than a kindergarten. And I think I just am learning a lot about children. And I mean, I've had to go through this with the war with them. So I've learned so much resilience and so much things from these kids. And I think surprising for me is just really learning how Israelis grew up and what they go through from that age.
What are some of the key differences that you're seeing in terms of what they go through versus what you went through as a kid growing up in South Africa?
It's funny, I actually make the comparison quite often, is that like maybe I grew up with the safety issues that South Africa is well known for as my norm, and I'm not scared of like people walking on the street and around me, and like the area I live in Tel Aviv is considered unsafe. It's not at all. It may be my norm of like that safety in the car and safety at the traffic lights was what they're going through now. Although for me, I just don't think it's a comparison of like a war and missiles and bomb shelters and what they're going through and family losses. We've had that at the kindergarten. But I make the comparison sometimes of like, you just learn to be resilient and that's your norm. And so maybe I'm not that different to them of like growing up.
And how do you feel now that you've moved and the war has gone on? Has that impacted your connections back home? Are people surprised that you're still here?
Yeah, a lot of people are still surprised I'm here. I think especially now with the war with Iran, it really, really impacted myself and a lot of people more than we'd already been impacted and honestly traumatized. I think that it's made me just like appreciate a country that loves its people and cares for its people so much. I definitely noticed that difference. I also just noticed like the difference in like, how do I word it? Like, I don't know, like South Africa just became a like, I hated because I never left South Africa because I felt unsafe or unwanted or anti-Semitism. Like I didn't leave for any negative reasons other than my own mental health and my state of mind and lifestyle. It was all personal. It's like funny to look back now of how much negativity and how toxic of an environment I possibly was living in, watching how they've treated Israel and how Jews are being treated and that. It's a difficult one.
Yeah, it's a big surprise how things have changed back in home countries once you're here after October 7th. I hear you completely.
Like I was the only Jew at my university for many years, and I was quite religious at the time. I covered my head, and I never felt as an outsider. No one gave me a hard time. I was never embarrassed or shy about anything. And like, it's obviously now coming here, it's funny to watch how many people would isolate me and have victimized me. I would honestly say it easily that I've been victimized and bullied about it, like being here by them, people that I thought were my family for 15 years that I had studied with.
So, okay, let's look forward and tell me something about your career or life in Israel that you wouldn't have expected you would love.
I didn't think that I would fall so in love with the culture and the lifestyle here. I think a lot of my exposure had been, I was a B'nai Akiva boy. Anyone who knows B'nai Akiva, it's a wonderful youth movement to grow up in and that, but it made my life a little bit bubbled even in Israel. I really just knew one kind of area and one kind of life, and coming to Tel Aviv and like realizing the like diversity and the culture and the lifestyle that is lived here and Israelis and the like Yeah, I think that what I've really fallen in love with here is just this like freedom and resilience and this like vibrance for life, if that's the way to put it. Like people just love living here and life is lived. And I didn't know that I would like love that. I was like a very happy at home, chilled guy. And like, there's just so much more to life and so much more than that. And I love learning that and like absorbing that from like the friends that I've made in that and just like doing things and being something like, yeah.
Especially in a city like Tel Aviv, there's a lot to do and there's different areas and different things to do all the time. And always seems like there's something new to explore.
It's really helped my own self-exploration, which I think was it really like held back choosing a life in Johannesburg to what the world had to offer, because I just feel like there's everything here. Like whatever style or type of life or culture you want to live, it's available here and it's easily accessed, which maybe is what I never knew.
So what advice would you give to other professionals who are making Aliyah and also maybe trying to find themselves and needing or wanting to reinvent themselves? What advice would you give them?
I think that you just have to go and do it. There's not an age limit in Israel. I think because of the lifestyle that they live, like it's just okay whatever age you are. It's about what stage of life you're in. And like you just got to brave it. And there's a place here to land in and be what you become or be who you already are in a better space. And like career-wise, it's like for me, I can only compare it to South Africa, which is like not the biggest growing economy and not this like tech hub and not this inventive startup welcoming place. And like just when I came here medically, I knew that I could like expand even my dental career to like bigger, greater opportunities because there's this tech and there's this hunger for education and there's the availability to go educate yourself more. So like there's that option. And there's also just like from a lifestyle point of view, like you can come and just find your home in these bunches of cities that just offer something different. And like, hey, it's in the middle of the world. Like you can just come here and also just go see the world from a different aspect. Yeah, I think my advice is just be brave and like there's a place here and there's people here. You'll find your community.
Amazing.
And that will embrace your career change. I think to a kindergarten teacher, I had negative thoughts towards. It's like something I was very shy to tell people I was falling in love with, but it's not here. Like nobody cares what you do. Like just be happy and live your life.
Excellent. Okay. So what's next for you? What's the next thing on your horizon that you're looking to accomplish or complete? Is it a course online and then that opens other doors for you? What's next?
I'll tell you, I think actually like I'm a very like self-introspective. I love like, oh, I'm growing. That whole cliche, that is me. I'm always doing that stuff and very spiritual and self-introspective and then want to grow from it and learn so much. I think for me, one of the things I learned is like not to be that type A dreamer, achieve the goal, achieve the dream, and then like life falls flat because that just happened to me. And it was like not what you dreamt of. And I think I live much more in the moment in this country and you kind of have to, and it's beautiful and it's okay and it's less stressful. And so for now, for me, it's really just about figuring out my happiness. I know it's such a cliche, but I love saying it and it's my happiness. And it's those hobbies that I now have time to like go and do because there's a life at night here. And it's about finding and starting to explore this education system and like opening more doors and maybe it takes me somewhere. But for now, it's just like taking the opportunities I have and taking the happiness and love that comes to me and using it. So I don't know what's next, but I'm also okay with it. And I'm happily going somewhere already. So it'll take me somewhere like life keeps doing, like landing up in a kindergarten and loving it was just meant to be.
Amazing. All right, well, let's wrap it up. So if listeners want to connect with you and learn more about your story and follow you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I'm so happy to chat and like so happy to like help people that are scared. I was in my mid-30s when I chose to do this and I came alone, no family. Instagram's a great way to connect with me. I'm sure we'll share my Instagram handle, Dr_Tynan Mac, TYNANMAC. Happily follow me, inbox me, and let's chat.
Okay, so we're going to ask Tynan to give us the word of the pod. So every episode, we try to find a Hebrew or Israeli word to share with the audience. And Tynan, what is your word of the pod?
Chaim Shali, only it's 2 words, but it's my best and worst one. It took me long to fall in love with the wording, but it's just the most easiest used word saying that there is, and you can just say it out of love to the love of your life or to your Walt delivery man that has just made you happy. It's just a way of like sharing love and happiness, and it puts a smile on people's face.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's totally weird. It literally means my life. And yeah, you use it for everything. Or it seems, or Israelis use it for everything.
It's South African. If you're going to pet names, it's like, because you're really like close to the person. And it's something like developed. If I put much thought into that, like I think you would weird someone out if you said anything like other than their name for a long time, even if you're like dating. And yeah, I just feel like it's the most casual term, but just used in a million ways that is just always positive and great.
Agree. Excellent. Great choice. All right. Well, Tynan, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Really appreciate it. I'm going to put your Instagram handle in the notes of the podcast and wish you the most luck in the world as you continue on your journey. And thanks again.
Thank you so much.
That's it for this episode of Ola at Large, Aliyah Stories. I want to thank my guests and I want to thank you. Thanks for listening. Please give a like, give a follow, and catch you next time.